Curious noses, webbed feet, and a rudder for a tail. Otters capture hearts by looking cuddly. So it's no surprise that at the Calvert Marine Museum in Solomons, home to more than 500 Chesapeake species, from blue crabs to minnows, 9-year-old river otters Chessie Grace and Calvert are easily the most popular residents.
They are very inquisitive animals, and so they love following people around. The kids get a huge kick out of it, but I think the otters really do as well.
But beneath their playful exterior, these are highly intelligent apex predators with complex behaviors and needs. Right now, it's snack time. Shrimp and veggie popsicles. Delivered by curator Matt Neff.
It may not sound like a treat to us, but carrots and mushrooms and cucumbers, they love to eat.
Consuming 15 to 20% of their body weight daily, otters love to eat, period. In captivity, aquarist Linda Hanna provides 3 square meals.
Warm it up a little bit, put some vitamins in. They'll get all crazy thinking they're ready for it.
Working to replicate not just the quantity, but also the diversity of a wild river otter's diet.
Slow down, you're all right.
Which includes more or less whatever they can hunt. Fish, worms, crustaceans, even the occasional bird or frog. The specifics vary a lot based on habitat, and until recently, not much was known about otters and their habitat right outside, the Chesapeake Bay. But luckily, these mysterious mammals leave behind clues. Matt has found a few himself, right here on the museum's campus.
There might be otters around just by scat that is left on the boardwalk sometimes, or sometimes we see some eaten food like crabs and things like that that look like it could have been the work of an otter.
Are we gonna get lucky and see an otter?
And as the season's first few inches of snow fall at the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center, or CERC, in Edgewater, senior scientist Katrina Lohan and research technician Callie Wise are looking for similar clues left behind in the night.
Yeah, I think that's
So that's
scat.
going to be scat.
All right, you want to take that sample?
Yeah.
Covered with snow, an otter has left a fresh deposit, data for the scientists.
Is it squishy or hard?
Nah, frozen solid.
Okay, well, I mean, DNA is preserved then.
There's always been evidence that river otter populations in the bay have existed, and there are no publications with the words Chesapeake Bay in them related to river otters, period, until the one that we just published.
A look at the biology and ecology of river otters in the Bay watershed. Like hundreds of others, they will analyze this sample to find out what the otters have been eating.
One of the ways we've been trying to study them is a non-invasive approach where we find the areas called latrines, where they come up on land and leave poop for us.
Visiting the same latrine site over and over.
They'll kind of search around and find a good spot. They'll do a little back stomp with their back feet. They'll wiggle their booty, and then they'll squat.
Beyond diet, these scat samples also reveal the parasites that infect both prey animals and the otters themselves.
This red thread here is the end of one of the worms.
Indicators of broader ecosystem health.
Parasites are so freaking cool. They do crazy things where they'll like change their host behavior to make them more likely to get eaten. While negative for individuals, they're absolutely essential for populations and communities. We wouldn't have these large-scale fisheries or these apex predators like river otters without the presence of parasites in food webs.
Aiding the researchers are several trail cameras installed by a CERC staff member, which help shed light on otter behavior on the property.
We've got the whole latrine in view.
Documenting their diet, including fish snacks and a Maryland favorite.
Turns out river otters love blue crabs.
Latrines are also a place to play and be social.
Really, for them, it's a communication hub.
With pheromones and the scat conveying information about territory and identity. Far from being a time to slow down, otters actually ramp up their social calendar in fall and winter. Their rich diet supporting a high metabolism, and their dense fur providing complete protection from freezing air and water.
They do this throughout the winter to get an idea of who's also available for mating, which then will happen in the springtime.
In the continued search for scat, The next latrine comes up empty.
No.
I've got nothing.
But you can see what we call a slide, which is this area here that they have used to come through.
The otters have moved on, and Katrina and Callie follow suit to a site where the cameras have picked up a spike of activity.
Snow makes a new dimension to poop hunting.
Here's a whole bunch.
Ooh, nice.
And you can still smell this one, actually.
Delicious. It just is this like fishy smelling splat.
Yeah, this one's really fresh.
The hunt for scat has also expanded beyond Cirque and its 2,600 acres of high-quality habitat to other parts of the Chesapeake.
We are increasingly identifying otters in urban spaces.
It's an early summer morning at the National Aquarium in Baltimore. Conservation Coordinator Taylor Long is picking up litter along the aquarium's 10,000 square foot harbor wetland.
Now that Harbor Wetland is here, we take care of this every day. It is an open exhibit for the public.
Planted with native marsh plants, the artificial structure began attracting wildlife as soon as it was installed. A true case of if you build it, they will come.
We see a lot of waterfowl, a lot of ducks, a lot of geese. Of course, we have a lot of small fish, small crabs, shrimp.
Even a bullfrog tadpole or two.
And we have had some mammals moving in. I can definitely smell that the otter was here. It smells very musty. But before Harbor Wetland was here, there wasn't much habitat that was usable for them in the inner harbor.
24/7 cameras have shown otters making use of the floating wetland, and Taylor now collects her own scat samples.
I see a little scale there, so that tells me that we probably had fish on the menu.
Kept in a freezer at minus 20 degrees Celsius until they can be delivered to Callie and Katrina at Cirque.
It is like opening a Christmas present. And the aquarium scats, we have about 100 right now across the year period.
Finally, here in the lab, they can begin to decode the story hidden in these pungent clues.
After each scat is rinsed, we dry them, and then you can use the hard parts that are left in the scat to identify what they've eaten.
Genetic testing lets them take an even closer look, identifying species by the DNA they left behind, even where no visible trace remains.
Metabarcoding is a tool that's enabled us to find many of the other smaller or less abundant items that are also part of the diet that would be hidden or lost using that other method. River otters are interesting because we've always thought of them as cryptic and using a very specific natural type of habitat. We're finding increasingly that these animals are really flexible. They're acting as a bit of a generalist in how they use habitat and what their diet is.
And as they make their presence known, they're bound to win more supporters.
Especially when you get a really close-up video of an otter or you have an otter just looking right into the camera. It's a really cool feeling.